What's up, guys? So, as you can see from the title, here we go again. Here we go again, with an artist saying more stupid shit. Nicki Minaj compares herself to Harriet Tubman. Now, when I say an artist says more stupid shit, as we all know, Kanye West, the greatest artist to ever compose music, he said that slavery was a choice. Think about what I just said. I'll repeat that for those of you. I'll come a little closer. Kanye West said that slavery was a choice. Now, I'm going to go back into Nicki Minaj claiming that she's like Harriet Tubman. So I have an article here that I'm going to be reading from. So the article says Nicki Minaj comparing herself to Harriet Tubman. Here's who Tubman was and why that's absurd. So I'm not going to read the little bit, which is still a whole damn page of what Harriet Tubman did, because that doesn't even begin to scratch the surface of who she was as a person. A true historical figure to my people especially, but just to people in general, really. What she did is sends a message to just being an overall good person. And to compare yourself to a true historical figure to yourself who does nothing for the black community and contributes nothing of substance to the a community is absurd, and it's crazy. I'm amazed that she even said something like that, to be completely honest with you guys. When I read that, I said, what's this Nicki Minaj thing all about? Because what it stemmed from was that she was pissed off because her album was number 2. Number 2! For all of you who maybe are struggling with music, want to get your musical adventures off the ground, think to yourselves for a moment. You are struggling with your music career, and all of a sudden, you make a song or two. You make an album with 10 songs on it. You say to yourself, you know what, I put my heart and soul into this, I did the best I could, and then all of a sudden, your album's number 2. Think about that. Think about that for a second. Think about if your album was number 2 on the chart, on the hot chart that everyone is playing, that the whole world's playing right now. People are listening to on their iPhones, their iPods, their radios on the way to work, on the way home from work, sitting around parties. What's the hottest new track? Imagine if your album was number 2. You would be ecstatic, right? Not Nicki Minaj, because that's the sense of entitlement. She thinks that she deserves number 1. Nicki Minaj doesn't deserve number 1 album ever, because I never clicked with Nicki Minaj. I think she's garbage, in my opinion. I know a thing or two about music, I would think, and I've written music myself. I haven't published anything, obviously, but I've played in little after-school bands, and just for something to do, and I've written music, and it sounded pretty damn good. But I'm not gonna be out here and consider myself fucking Frederick Douglass. I'm not gonna say I'm Martin Luther King. You know, like, I'm a Nelson Mandela. But, like, Jesus Christ, Nicki Minaj, like, number 2, and you're still pissed, and she got pissed at Taylor Swift beating her at the awards also, and Travis Scott, if I didn't mention before, I think I did, though. Travis Scott was the guy that beat her, and she was saying that he's bundling stuff in his ticket packages to boost sales and all that. You're salty, okay? And that's the thing about music, too, is you have to be consistent. You have to stay consistent, unless you're, like, a larger-than-life figure. Like, if you end up hitting, well, I can't even say that, but if you hit up, like, AC/DC territory, where you just write literally the same shit over and over again, but people will still buy it and still say that you're amazing. Until you get to that level, you have to stay consistent. You have to come correct, because I think people are starting to smarten up. People are starting to realize that Nicki Minaj isn't what she says she is, and she isn't this great rapper, because people are starting to turn on her. Because if your album's number 2, what's that saying? If I was her and I'd say, you know what, my album's number 2, you know what, I gotta get in the studio. Why wasn't what? See, I'm different. But I wouldn't be pissed about it. I'd just be like, well, in the back of my head, I'd be like, why was my album number 2? But then at the same time, I'd be like, holy shit, my album's number 2. Just the fact that you're still relevant in music, in your genre of music, still in the top 5 at least, that you're relevant with all the artists coming out. And although they're not, even though they're mostly all trash as well, the fact that you're still number 2, you should be happy about that. But then you want to say stupid shit like you're Harriet Tubman. But yeah, and this is just one of the quotes that she. Or this is what a reporter said. A reporter shouted, "Do you think it's a bit too far with the slave comparison to the streaming service?" And then Nicki Minaj twirled for the cameras, flipped her hair, and answered, "No, no, I am Harriet Tubman. Leave me alone." Before getting into a limo. That is amazing how she would say something like that. And this is just one of the This is just one of the things of Harriet Tubman. For those of you who don't really know who she is, Tubman stood 5 feet tall, was utterly and completely fearless. She reveled in defying men, defying governments, defying slavery, defying Confederate armies, and defying slave catchers who put a $40,000 bounty on her head. $40,000. I read in an article something along the lines of $40,000 back in those days is equivalent to around $1 million today. Imagine that. And being a woman at that, most people, oh, women can't really. Women have been doing a lot of shit for decades upon decades upon decades. It's amazing what they've been doing and how far they've come. And the fact that Harriet Tubman back then, $1 million bounty on her head, and she was black too. So that's the double right there. I think that's pretty damn impressive. I had reasoned this out in my mind, Tubman once said. There was one of two things I had a right to, liberty or death. If I could not have one, I would have the other. Now, you keep reading, like, if you read all this stuff on Harriet Tubman and then you think, why would Nicki Minaj compare herself to someone like that? It's absurd, man. And I couldn't believe that she said something like that. And it's like I said, it's not like you're doing anything for your community, Nicki Minaj. You're not out here doing anything that's revolutionary to the music industry. You're not Jimi Hendrix. You know, you're not Eric Clapton, you're not Led Zeppelin, you're not out here doing things that people aren't sitting in back just waiting. Music companies are just waiting for you to fall off, so you're disposable. They're just waiting for you to fall off so then they can throw out their next project. They do that all the time unless you're special. Unless you're special. That's why Metallica, always selling out shows. Megadeth, always selling out shows. Rolling Stones sell out shows. AC/DC sell out shows. You know why? Because even though I don't like AC/DC that much, I will say their music it has a quality to it. There's something to it that makes it stand out. You're just another generic rapper, Nicki Minaj. You're not really doing anything like that, and it's crazy, man. The sense of entitlement that she has. Oh, my album should be number 1. Fuck off with that. Seriously. But yeah, it's the same article. So yeah, slave owners issued huge rewards for Tubman's capture. By 1856, rewards for her added up to 40,000, about $1 million today. About $1 million in today's currency, according to the Tubman Museum still, and she kept coming back. She made at least 19 trips, freeing more than 300 enslaved people, guided by the North Star, yada yada yada. So those of you who don't know who she is the conductor for the whole train analogy thing. She basically was the conductor of the train that freed slaves. She freed slaves. And you're gonna compare yourself. You think you're as big as someone like that? You think that you're a figure, someone as impactful as that, Nicki Minaj? You're not. You can't, the equivalent, like, there isn't going to be another Harriet Tubman, there isn't going to be another Dr. Martin Luther King, there isn't going to be another Nelson Mandela, there isn't going to be, there isn't going to be another Malcolm X, there isn't going to be any of that. There's going to be another Nicki Minaj. There kind of is, there is, and there's a better version. Her name's Cardi B. Exactly my point. There isn't going to be another Harriet Tubman, though. And that's awesome, because what she did, it's in the history books forever, and it can never be taken away. Nicki Minaj will never be in the history books for anything. You're trash. Go back to the drawing board, rebrand yourself, make yourself better. Because, let me tell you what, there's an example, because Iggy Azalea, she was pure hot trash. There was a song, I forget what it is, but Iggy Azalea, she fell off a little bit. She came back with that song. I said, holy shit, Iggy Azalea improved. I will give credit where it is due. I did not like Iggy Azalea. I thought she was overrated. But when Iggy Azalea released that song, I said she went back, she saw the drawing board, she maybe consulted one of these top rappers, and she became way better than what she was. And if Iggy Azalea keeps doing that, I will buy. I will say that. I will say this right here. If Iggy Azalea keeps bringing heat like she did with that song, I will buy her next album. But I doubt she will do that. But yeah, so what do you guys think about Nicki Minaj comparing herself to Harriet Tubman? You know, a historical figure, Underground Railroad. You know, nothing major. Nothing major. Nothing big that help black people or anything. No, nothing compared to what the great Nicki Minaj has done. But what do you guys think? Leave a comment in the comment section below, whether it be Facebook, YouTube. I'm going to be uploading it to both. So, hit the like button if you guys like this video. Hit the subscribe button if you like this video also, because you guys already know we like to keep it all the way G. Peace.